Hey, what's going on, guys? Tony here, CCxRC, and today on the bench we have a brand new Cat RC LMT right here, guys. The son of a digger. That was perfect timing. Today in this video, guys, we're going to be installing the new Diaz Designs RC Driveshaft Safety Hoops. Driveshaft hoops or driveshaft loops or whatever you want to call them. They're driveline loops, driveshaft hoops, whatever. He calls them driveshaft hoops, so we'll go with that. I've got a brand new LMT here in front of me that has a couple of little things done to it. It's pretty much stock. Took it out of the box and I bound it to a different radio. One that I'm going to have at the racetrack tomorrow, so it's my Spectrum Rugged. And then we put on these Pro-Line Demolisher tires, and so these things have some aggressive tread to them. I like the pattern on it. It's going to be great in the dirt for racing tomorrow. So just showing you that. While we have this apart, they're already installed, as you can see here. I'm going to take one of them off because I know a lot of you guys like to see exactly the step-by-step process, what all is entailed. So we'll go through that. But while it's apart, I'm going to go ahead and just put on these Freestyle RC axle braces. These are just nice and lightweight. They'll go on easy as we have this apart. It'll be one extra step that you don't have to do, but I'm gonna go ahead and do by just taking off 4 more screws per axle to do it. But anyway, we're gonna show you how to do these safety hoops and get this thing going. I love the design on them. You can see here when the drive shaft is spinning, those safety hoops don't move. They're locked in here. We do have to drill into this little plate on the axle here. Not a big deal. Take your 3/32 drill bit, and we're going to just drill in. Oop, that loosened it right up. So we'll go through the process of that, and it's really simple. Not many screws for you to take apart to do it yourself, and you'll be up and rolling. So you can check them out. I'll link to them down below if you want to get those. If you want to check out these tires, I'll have links for those as well as these Freestyle RC braces. I'm not really going to go through the install on that. That's just going to be something I do because it's a step that you don't have to do, and it's just 4 screws. It's real simple. So anyway, let's do it, guys. All right, one other thing that I will point out is that you can also get these safety hoops for your SMT10. You just have to be aware of which way the angle is going on these kicking, and you should be good to go for installing those. So that's it. Just want to let you know that they're available as well. If you have an SMT10, you can get them and make your SMT10 look baller. All right, let's get into this. All right, first things first, let's look at some of the tools that you are going to need. You're going to need an 8mm wrench to get into your wheels and to be able to take off the nuts in there to get them off. You are going to need a 2mm and a 2.5mm hex driver. You're going to want needle nose pliers for getting that grub screw out of your drive shaft, and then you do need a drill and a 2mm or a 3/32 bit in it. All right, so we're going to move this stuff out of the way. First things first, we're going to take off all the wheels because we don't need them. The thing I love about these Protex, if you get a tight nut like that, you put a wrench in, gives you some torque, boom. Didn't realize that I loved that so much until I had one of these nuts that was just fighting me, and I realized very quickly how important it is to have a really awesome wrench. All right, I'm going to bring my little Kyle RC mat in here. They're super helpful to have, and we're going to go ahead and just do the front here. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to take off one of these side plates here. Real easy. It's 3 screws. You don't need to do all of them. All right, so we're going to start here. These are very short, small screws. We're going to take them and we're going to drop them on our Kyle RC mat. Then we'll do this middle one. The last one is right over here, and this will come right off. All right, so because we removed that plate, you can now see inside of here and go in and grab this grub screw out of the drive shaft. You can see it spinning in there, right in there. This is where you're going to want your needle nose once you get it loose, so you can get in there and grab it out. Now, I'm going to have to get creative because of the safety hoops. All right, it is loose. I'm just gonna drop it out. There it comes, a little bang. All right, so when you get these lower links off, you're gonna be able to twist your axle and get more room in there to get the parts in there that you need. All right, now this will pop out. Usually that nut will drop too. Shake it out. And then we're gonna flip around and do the other side. And this is why I said that I am gonna do the Freestyle RC part as well, because we just have to take 2 more screws out and we can put them on. Now these can pop out. You can now pull your drive shafts back and actually take it off. So, like that. All right, so for you, this is where you are now at in the process. This is now free. Once again, for anybody that doesn't know, these drive shafts, if it does come out, can only go in one way, and that is so that you don't get them out of phase. And that is a good thing. So, you're at this point. I'm gonna go ahead and put in my Freestyle RC brace here. You don't have to do this. This is an extra step. But once we're done with this, the rest of the steps will be something that you will want to do. So we're just going to remove these extra pieces. And actually, we're not going to install the brace until after we drill this out, because it will be in the way of that. The brace will now sit in our way. All right, so those are off. But because we do have to do some drilling, we're going to go ahead and take one of the drive shaft, the safety hoops here. You can see the design on it. It's very well made. It's got 2 little screws on the sides holding it together, and this is already pre-drilled, and it's literally just going to slide right over our drive shafts. You just got to make sure that the front of it here just keeps kind of feeding its way through and doesn't get bound up. And here's why you have to take these links off right here, because it won't fit. But if you twist and you take off these links, you can get it in there. And then you're just going to ride this up on top until you find where it fits. And you definitely want these to be accessed from the bottom. It's just going to be a lot easier for you to drill and to screw these in. So we're going to push them all the way back, and we're going to get our drill, and we're going to drill these holes out right here into the axle. 1, 2. Now we've got holes in there, and we'll be able to get a 2mm wrench. This is way easier if you do have a drill driver, because it is not threaded and it's a little bit smaller hole than the actual screw threading is. That way it will thread in, and you're just going to line these up. There you can see the first one is in, and the second one will go right here. All right, so now when we get back to this in a second, you'll see the tricky part, trying to get this all lined up. It's not too bad, but it's a little bit tricky to get your drive shaft back lined up. But now is when I'm going to install the freestyle brace, because it's going to sit right on there, but it does block where those screw holes would have been. So we're just going to put this in like so, and we'll be ready. Need to use the longer screws provided by Freestyle. Now there's going to be a little bit of bow because of this. This now does hit, so it does require a little bit of extra pressure to kind of wrap it around that, but I don't think that's a bad thing, because most of the strengthening that we want is forward and backward, like the twist, like this. So we're just going to do this, and it's going to apply a little bit of pressure on there. Again, I don't think it's going to be a problem. And this is just a race truck. I'm not really going to bash this one, so I don't really think there'll be any issues with this. I'll tighten these down by hand the rest of the way. All right. Now that those are installed, we'll go ahead and worry about getting this reinstalled. Now the trick is you got to get this lined up, which your holes should still be in the same spot. But one of the tricks is a couple things. You want to make sure you're set, because you can go in here and hold this now and pull this back a little, just roll it, and it'll get this safety hoop. Once you roll this back, if you hold the front, once it's on, it pulls that safety hoop out of your way so you can actually see in here. Now my hoops have turned, so there's that. And just got to make sure it's pushed all the way on there. I'm going to take this and we're going to put a little bit of thread lock on it again, because we are going into metal in there. This is our 2.5 millimeter wrench again. So we're just going to add a little bit right on there. I use Vibratite. Now this I dropped earlier today when I did this. I dropped this screw in probably into the chassis, I would say 8 times. But doing both of them, but about 8 times total. It's a little frustrating, but this time we're going to get it first go around, because I learned this twist trick to twist the axle back, and that pulls this out of our way. Now you want to make sure that you have both of your lower links sitting up top, because once you get one of them locked in here, you will not be able to pull the other one up if it's stuck down. So these can be a little bit of work, a little bit finicky to get in here. Got to get them very straight, and it'll slide right in. Or you got to just force it. But make sure you have a nut on the back. And gonna have to just find where that. And this is one I can drill driver the rest of the way in. Like so. Not too bad. Not too shabby. So you're going to do the same process for both. Again, you may or may not have Freestyle RC braces that you want to put in. When you look at it from the front, you really can't even see the bend that I was talking about that we're having to apply on this piece here. So I don't think there's any added stress really too bad by doing this. The look is just so cool, I just have to do it. So we're going to do it regardless of whether or not it does push a little bit on there. All right, so those are in. We're going to get this last one in, and we'll be able to reinstall the wheels. I have one more freestyle brace to install, but I'm not going to be doing the whole safety hoop, because the process is the exact same for the front and the rear. So if you can do one of them, if you've seen it one time, it's the exact same thing. Ain't worth me tearing it all down again. All right, guys, so the last piece that we have to do now is to install our sponsor plate, and it's super simple to do. So we're going to do this through the magic of video. Alrighty, there you have it, boys and girls. We are all buttoned back up. Wheels are back on, and they're all in the right direction. That doesn't always happen when we're doing it on video, but this time it did. So, yeah, guys, really easy, and it didn't take that much work to do. Once you see how it's done, it ups the look of it. Now, there's a couple things that I want to say about both things. They're 3D printed, so there's a very good possibility, depending on how you run it, where you run it, that you can break them. I'm using this as a race truck. I run it on dirt. I could see possibly breaking them if I don't hit one of my wood ramps right, and I kind of get on an edge of it and catch it, I guess, on there. That could happen. But if you're running where it's rocky, all of that, I do not recommend them. Because you could possibly get in there and do some damage. If they're tall rocks, like rock crawler type stuff. If it's just small on the ground, it'll be fine. So that is the one caveat. And I will say too, guys, with the freestyle axle braces here, you have to know how carbon fiber works. What these are meant to do is to help when you take a hit that forces the wheels to kind of turn in. So if you hit one wheel down like this, your axle would want to flex, and this being laid sideways and flat prevents this type of movement. It locks that, so your axle won't want to cave in. Now this would be actually in this front to back motion, but I'm showing you to the top so you can see what it's doing. So that's what it's doing. It's not going to be as strong caving inward, so if you land down. But what it's really not going to be strong at is if you run into curbs or you run into rocks, possibly even if you again have a wood ramp and you catch it, it may ding it. So that's kind of the break. And I'm looking at this and I put a little bit of extra stress on it. I know that they've got a lifetime warranty on it, guys, but you got to use like judgment on that as well. Like if we're doing things with these things and the break is on us, like these are small companies, these are people that are trying to give us parts that we want. And so, if I break it and I know that it's because of how I hit a jump weird, and I know how, it's like a drag car chassis. If you buy a carbon fiber drag car chassis, if you hit a curb with it, it's going to splinter that carbon fiber. Same thing with these braces, guys. They're not going to withhold if you slam them into things like rocks. What they're trying to do is give us extra strength for these axles so that they don't flex and break. And that's where the strength is. It's not if you smash into things with it. So I would say use common sense, and judgment too. Like there's a little bit of a moral code. We're a small, tight-knit community, RC monster trucks, and everybody's trying to help each other out for the most part, guys. And so one way we can help out some of these companies is if it's on us, just own it, man. And if you need another set, get another set. But I don't think, certain things are really worthy of trying to warranty out when, anything would break if you slammed it into it. So anyway, I'm not being asked to say that. I'm just saying that as I realize that this is adding extra stress on here, that I have a little bit of a bow on this part here, that if it does crack or break here, I'm going to own up on that one. And that's going to be on me for adding the extra stress to it in the way that I've installed it. And again, if I hit something with these as well, I'm going to own it. And if I need to order new ones, I will do so. But anyway, guys, yeah, just a little bit of a moral code as you do some of that stuff. I do have my stickers a little bit crinkly here in the way that it was installed. But that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. I typically don't even look at it. I took it out of the box. I didn't even care to look over it that closely. So it looks good to me because it's going to do what I want it to do, and that's give me a lot of enjoyment. And I'll tell you what, this is by far my favorite RTR RC car that has ever been released. And I'll stand by that. I've never had so much fun. And man, has it made the hobby so much fun for me here in 2021, end of 2020. It's really reinvigorated my just desire to get out there and run these things, modify them, have fun with them, and just go to town. We're building stuff in the backyard. We're going racing with them and having a blast. Don't sweat the small details, guys. Look at the big picture. We have something awesome on the market. Hopefully it's going to drive the market for the rest of it. Other companies will see how these are doing and they'll want to jump in the game. That's really ideal, is if these really take off. So it just gives us more options, and options are great, and competition is good as well, guys. It drives innovation. So let's get out there. Let's push these things. Let's show people how awesome RC monster trucking is. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.